Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to this hybrid meeting of the Ethics and Standards Committee, which is open to the press and public on request. We welcome the use of the Welsh language at meetings. I've had no requests for people to speak Welsh today, so this meeting will be conducted in English only. Please can members refrain from using the chat function and instead use the raised hand icon to indicate when you want to speak. And please remember to keep your microphone muted when you're not talking. May I remind members that as per statutory guidance made under Section 4 of the Local Government Wales Measures 2011 and our formally adopted hybrid meeting policy, any member attending a meeting remotely must be able to be seen and heard by the members and officers who are attending the meeting, as well as by members of the public viewing the meeting. So can I just ask you all that you ensure your cameras are please kept on throughout the duration of the meeting. Please be aware that this meeting is being transcribed only for the purposes of producing minutes, and this transcript will be deleted once the committee has approved the minutes. The transcript should not be downloaded by anyone other than Democratic Services here at Tormain Council. Moving on to the agenda. Agenda item 1 is welcome and apologies. Dominic Redman, Team Leader, Democratic and Member Services. Do we have any apologies, please?
Thank you, Chair. I've had apologies from Councillor Richard Clark and from Gregor T. Lodge.
Thank you. Agenda item 2 is quorum. Delith Harris, the Monitoring Officer, please could you confirm if a quorum is present?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it is. I can confirm.
Okay, I'd like to take a brief moment here just to highlight that Councillor Anthony Bird has tendered his resignation from the committee. Councillor Bird joined this committee in May 2022. And I'd like to thank him for all his time and contributions during the last 3 years. This is also Joe's last meeting at the Ethics and Standards Committee, having started in February 2022. And again, I would just like to formally thank Joe for all the contributions over the last three and a half years. Agenda item 3, declarations of interest. Members, does anyone have any interest that they need to declare? I'll take that as a no. Agenda item 4 is the minutes of the Ethics and Standards Committee held on the 6th of February 2025. Do any members have anything to raise in relation to these minutes? If you don't, I'm going to take them as agreed. Perfect. Agenda item 5 is the update on the actions. As you can see, all the actions have been completed. Thanks to Delith and colleagues for ensuring that the guidance has been recirculated to councillors. I think we all felt, given our last interaction with the political group leaders, that it would be very beneficial to all members, so thank you. I did want to ask, Delith, do you mind giving a brief update on actions 2 and 3 before I just ask if there's anything else any other members want to raise?
Yes, thank you, Chair. With regard to actions 2 and 3, as a result of the comments made by the members of this committee, I referred the matter to the Head of Democratic Services, and the Head of Democratic Services presented a report to the Democratic Services Committee regarding the hybrid meeting policy and guidance, and obviously referred to the fact that it had been initiated from this committee. Some members did discuss the actual policy, and I understand that the Head of Democratic Services will take any comments on board, and in order for the amendments to be made to the policy, he will present a report to Cabinet to agree any changes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Delith. Can I bring in Councillor Evans, please?
Yeah, thank you for that, Rodri, and thank you, Delith, for that. As you're aware, I'm the Chair of Democratic Services. Yourself and I met and we discussed about the attendance of members and various other parts. But I think it's vitally important, which we agreed on, that the leaders of the group need to continually be monitoring their members, just to keep the attendance levels up. As a member myself, it can be quite awkward at times to be on a meeting when you're in two other meetings roughly on the same time. So I totally understand that, but we need to be mindful that we're being watched by the public. Just to say, we need to keep a continual eye on it. I think other members will probably agree with that as well. So thank you for that.
No. Thank you for that, Councillor Evans. I think we'll probably touch on it when we get to the forward work plan, but I do think there's probably, I think we'd probably request if the group leaders could come in again for our next meeting in February, March kind of time. Because I do think it is important, and we'll touch on it with the members' attendance around that. Do you want to come back in, Della?
Yes, it was just to say that the leaders are invited once a year to attend this committee in any event, and they are due to attend when the committee next meets. So yes, thank you.
Brilliant. Do any members have anything else that they wish to raise in relation to the update on actions? Mark?
Diolch. Thank you, Chair. Delyth, referring to, and thank you again for recirculating the information that we asked for, and that specifically on the hybrid meeting guidance. And I think did you just say that if there were any comments, they would come back to Democratic Services, and if there were amendments, that would then go to Cabinet. Does that come to us at all, just for comment or approval, that sort of thing? Thank you.
Thank you. No, it's the responsibility of the Democratic Services Committee to review the hybrid policy, which they did when they last met. And that was as a result of the comments made by this committee. The next stage now will be for it to be approved, but it's the remit of Cabinet. So it's Cabinet has the responsibility for approving any changes to the policy. So it wouldn't necessarily come back here, but I mean, if it would assist members, I can circulate any policy that is approved by Cabinet just for your information when it's done, if that would assist.
Thank you, Delyth. Yes, I mean that would be very useful. Just as a point of information that we've got it there, that we know what's being done. Thank you.
No, I agree. I agree with Mark on that. Any other comments on the update for actions? No. Brilliant. Agenda item 6, which is members' attendance. Dominique, could you present the report to us, please?
Thank you, Chair. So this is an annual report to this committee that provides a summary of the member attendance from May 24 to May 25. The details are set out in Appendix 1 to the report, which starts on page 21 of the agenda. The data has been broken down into the number of meetings members were expected to attend and the number of meetings attended, the number of committees that weren't able to discharge their functions due to being in quorate, and also included in this year's data is attendance for all co-opted members. So the recommendations start on page 20 of the report, which asks the committee to review the reported member attendance for May 24 to May 25.
That's great. Do any members have any comments or questions around that?
Yeah, sorry.
Councillor Evans?
Yeah, like I said in my previous statement on we still need to be mindful, and we still need to be chasing, not, sorry, the wrong word, chasing, but looking at some of the members' attendances, because they are portrayed in there, and some of them are not very good. I will say that. So, as I said, the leaders need to be more mindful in chasing their members up to attend these meetings. But the other concern I've got, I don't know whether it's the right format to sort of say it, that people are attending meetings, they're staying a very limited time, and particularly some sort of groups, within 15 minutes, all their members have gone. So that concerns me, particularly if we're looking to have a vote on something or something that is controversial. Yet they're quite happy to make any comments that they've been in attendance when they haven't really been in full attendance, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, we did capture some of that when we fed back last year about that partial attendance, and yes, that's definitely. I think our concerns as a committee would remain around some of the. John, come in. Yeah, Dom's come in.
Yeah, so that has been discussed by Democratic Services Committee, and as part of the changes that will be suggested to Cabinet to that hybrid meeting policy, a more detailed breakdown of attendance is suggested to be included in the minutes, so it will state in the minutes how long a member was present in a meeting for, or for which items they were present for. So going forward, that should be included.
I think that's a massive positive for how we do record attendance. Any other comments from the other members? Mark, do you want to come in?
Diolch, thanks, Chair. I just wanted to make a comment about when a member, whether they be an elected member or a co-opted member like myself, that they need to give a formal apology for not attending the meeting. I know that it might be difficult to keep a record of the reason why someone isn't able to attend. We all have other pressing commitments. It could be that there's illness, either ourselves or family. There may be some other pressing work commitment. But if there's a sort of pattern that starts to develop, then I think perhaps at some point we need to be looking into why that. And I think we just have to remind ourselves that we, elected members and co-opted members, are paid for this work, and therefore, that needs to be acknowledged. That if we aren't able to attend a great number of these meetings, so I know it's a hard ask, but I just wanted that comment to be to be noted, and perhaps there's some way that we can follow that up as time goes on. Thank you.
I think that's really helpful, Mark, and I think what you're touching on there is the habitual nature of, because obviously there are obviously going to be times when people can't attend, but our concern would be where it is a pattern of not attending. Councillor Evans?
Yeah, that's it. And I agree with what you and Mark have said there. But have we looked at what other councils are doing within their boroughs? But also, as a suggestion, would we be able to use this type of code to say, if a member rings up, I'm very sorry, I'm ill, whether you use a letter or a number to say that was the code that we would understand why they weren't able to attend? Is it feasible to look at that, or is it feasible to look at what the other authorities are doing?
I'll just bring Dom in.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the feasibility of codes. There is a facility on the system that allows us to record reasons for member attendance, but obviously some members choose to give a reason for attendance, but other members may not choose to give a reason, and that could be due to confidentiality. So it's difficult then to pull that information and break it down and publish it in an open report, really.
Any Councillor Hawler?
I'd just like to reiterate what's been said. I mean, it's a definitely ascertained fact. You only have to look at the figures. We have people who haven't attended a single meeting of certain committees. We also have people that have turned up for 5 minutes out of a 2-hour meeting. I mean, it's just totally unacceptable to me, and I'm glad that it's been raised. Thank you.
Joe?
So I completely agree that attendance isn't good enough, and people turning up and leaving too soon is a problem. I think we would need to be very careful to not be trying to go past our remit asking people why they aren't coming to meetings. The Ethics and Standards Committee job is to make sure that attendance is reasonable. It's not up to us to know what's going on in people's lives. So I suspect a better situation would be for us to monitor people who aren't coming in enough, aren't attending enough, and then it's, I suspect, somebody else's job to find out why that is. And I would be a little bit worried about the Ethics and Standards Committee thinking that they could start going and policing people's personal lives and why they can't come in. I think.
That's great, Joe. And any other comments? No. Okay. I've just got a few quick ones. Again, echoing what everyone else says around the inconsistency of attendance, and obviously, I think it's fair to say each of us would have some concerns around certain committees and the amount of people who have attended. I remain of the opinion this is a particular an issue with smaller committees. I was pleased to see the fact that no meetings haven't been quorum, and I do think that was a real welcome move in terms of incorporating that information into the report. I welcome the introduction of us into the report and capturing our attendance, because again that's an important part of the the democratic process in action. The only thing I do think on some of the graphs, there's some inconsistencies with how they display, and I'll give you two examples. One would be the cabinet one, which it would look, if on first view, it would look like the one person's only attended about 40% of meetings or something like that. But actually, when you look at it, it's because the graph starts at 80% and it's 80 to 100. So I do think that we can look at that. And there's a reverse of that somewhere else around where someone's got, it looks like full attendance, but actually they've attended 3/4. So I do think just for next year, it might just be worth looking at ensuring some consistencies over those graphics. But the overall, I think as a committee, we all agree that the actual report itself has come on a lot over the last couple of years. There's a lot more context in there to allow us to look at it and have a judgment, because it's very different if there's 20 meetings to if there's 3, and how many people can actually attend. So, thanks to Democratic Services for putting that together. If there's no other questions or comments, just want to ask whether members agree the recommendation that is on. I've lost the page number, but
sorry, Rod, I got my hand up when you said questions.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Evans. Go on.
Yeah, it's only a quick one.
Yep.
What we need to be mindful of is to make sure that, particularly on our agenda, the 2 meetings don't overlap. I've had it recently with the council, but unfortunately, I don't think Democratic Services gets the other type of diary list of some of the senior executives. So that's where we need to be mindful of, that the meetings don't overlap and does cause problems with the attendance of the normal meetings. So just to bring that case up of myself personally. So.
Yeah, no worries. I'll just bring in Dom again.
Yeah, obviously Democratic Services would avoid meeting clashes like that, and the corporate diary is accessible to everyone, so there shouldn't really be any clashes with member meetings like that. But obviously, if there's a particular issue and you're experiencing certain clashes, then just let us know and we'll look into it for you.
Councillor, I don't know if Councillor, does the corporate diary capture, so some councillors might be on external bodies as well, would it capture that in terms of, so there could be clashes there so we're covered from a TCBC, all right, that's fine. Any other comments then before we discuss, before we go to the recommendation on page 20? No? Okay, well the recommendation is that we review that we review it, so if there's no further comments, we'll go to agenda item 7, if that's okay. Agenda item 7, which is the programme of work. Delith, would you mind presenting the report to us, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, you have before you the programme of work for the committee. You'll be aware that this is presented at each committee meeting. It's just to summarise or just to highlight some of the issues on there. Member development and training. You'll be aware that there was training, or the last training was on the Constitution in February 2025. There's a item on the agenda to consider and reviewing the local protocol and procedure, so that will be discussed later on in this committee. The last conference was in February 2022. When I attended the last Monitoring Officers Group meeting, there weren't any plans actually to have another conference, but I think that is still being looked at. In terms of the dispensations, again, that's on the agenda. The annual report, the Chair, Rodri, did present the annual report in June 2025. And I think that's the... So if there's anything else members wish to comment on or make any suggestions regarding adding things to the programme, obviously you'd be welcome. Thank you.
Does anyone have any comments or questions about the programme of work? I've only got one quick one, Dalith, and it was just to ask, are we confident that the forward work plan as it's laid out ensures that we meet our terms of reference as an Ethics and Standards Committee?
Yes, you do.
Okay. That's great. And in terms of, yeah, if we could get, when we get the date in for the next Ethics and Standards Committee, if we can do the invite for the political leaders as well, that would be great. Does anyone have any comments on the recommendation, or should we take that as passed? Oh, sorry, Mark, go on.
No need to apologise, Chair. It's just popped up into my head. You mentioned right at the start of the meeting, thanked Councillor Bird and Joe for their contributions to the meeting. They're standing down. I assume that something now happens regarding replacing Joe and Anthony on the committee.
Yeah, I'll bring Dalith in.
Yes, thank you. That's a good question. With regard to the community councillor, when I became aware that Councillor Bird resigned, I contacted the clerks to all the community councils to ask for a nomination, and I did get a call from one of the chairs who is taking the lead now, and he is going to convene some sort of meeting so that I should have a nomination at some point. And when I receive a nomination from the community councils, I present a report to our council to agree that nomination. With regard to Dr. Joanna Hall, we will now be advertising for an independent member. So we've actually, something that we've discussed this morning, so we'll have to put an advert in the advert as we did before, really, and then we'll have to convene a panel, as we've done before, to obtain a replacement. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Gareth. Forgive me. Of course, you're on point with it, but I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
No, that's great. Any other comments, or am I going to take the recommendation as passed? Yeah. Great. Agenda item 8, dispensation in respect of small members' schemes. Dalith, could you present the report to us, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this report again is for members to consider the applications for small schemes dispensation set out in Appendix 1 and to decide whether those can be granted on an individual basis. I understand the Chair, you go through the list. Thank you.
Thanks, Dalith. I'll run through each of them now, just the councillor, the name of the organisation, the amount and the prejudicial interest. I'll pause for a second or two after each one, just to, and we're not going to vote on each and every one. So obviously, if we do have any concerns, if we can flag it in that immediately after each one. Carl Gowden, Pontier Village Hall indoor bowl section, £500, a trustee of the hall, of the village hall. Rose Seaborn, Co-Start Community Partnership, £300. Councillor is a volunteer trustee and husband is treasurer of the board. Carl Gowden, Raging Bullside Junior Art Dance Club, £400. He's a trustee of Pontier Village Hall with the club hosts activities. Ron Burnett, T. Gwyn Allotments Association, £400. Daughter holds a plot at the allotment. Ron Burnett, St. Peter's Church, £1,000. Ron is a member of the church. Janet Jones, Blanavon Workman's Hall, £50 on outside body and volunteers for the hall. Nick Haller, Blanavon Workman's Hall, £50, also on outside body and volunteers for the hall. Chris Tew, Garnsucken Partnership, £100. He's on the board of directors. Caroline Price, Blanavon Girls Under 14s Rugby, £200. Granddaughter plays for the team. Catherine Benera, Cumbran and South Torvine allotment, £300. Chair of committee, husband on committee, and has an allotment there. Catherine Bonera, Cumbran Celtic Sports and Social Club, £75. Councillor is a member of the club. Janet Jones, Blanavon Community Museum, £50. The councillor volunteers at the museum as secretary. Janet Jones, King Street Baptist Chapel, £50. Deacon of the church. And the last one, Janet Jones, Blanavon RBL, £50, member of RBL. I assume that's Royal British Legion? Yeah, Royal British Legion. Okay, we'll take them all as passed then. We now have to go to agenda item 9, which is exclusion of the press and public. Members of the press and public are excluded in accordance with paragraph 16 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972, as amended, as the report contains information in respect of which a claim to legal professional privilege could be. Can we just confirm that the